Hey there. In this video, we are going to explore the first stage in the path of self-development known as the Hermetic art of memory. This was known as the square art, and its focus was on the balancing, the perfecting of, and the evolution of the mind. The idea was to cultivate the virtues and abilities within our consciousness in a balanced and harmonious manner. In order to understand this art, we must think as the practitioners of this art did. They had an extremely positive view of the mind. For them, our consciousness was always seeking to find the best from anything that it learnt or experienced. So every memory, every image, every word, everything you've ever learnt is currently being put to best use by your consciousness. If you've had a hard experience of something negative, then your mind is seeking to avoid this reoccurring or looking for ways to be able to deal with it better if it did. If, however, you've had a very positive experience, your mind is looking for a way to amplify this, to replicate this, and to make sure that the lessons from it are applied to other areas in life. This also applies to everything you learn. So, when you memorize something or when you gain a new piece of information, your mind will process this and start to apply it to all the areas in your life which could benefit from it. Now, the manner in which you experience something or learn something makes a big difference. So your consciousness will do a lot more work on an emotional experience which is multi-layered and confusing than one which is strong and clear-cut. For its simplicity is best as it allows it to apply those lessons with ease and with clear vision. Likewise, it's harder to digest or process information which is learnt in a random or confused way, whereas something which is brought into the mind in a harmonious, balanced, structured or logical way can be fully utilised and accessed with ease in the future. The Hermetic art of memory is the art of creating images, experiences, and information which can aid the mind in its evolution. And by doing so in a emotionally centered, logically structured, and well thought out and balanced way, we can evolve the consciousness in a powerful, stable, and impressive manner. The square itself is an ideal symbol for this, being a balanced shape which reflects the consciousness which we seek to create. So the first thing we need to do if we are going to start this journey is to look at the information which is already being processed and utilized in the mind. Now, everything from the most subtle images to the most simple words has resonance. So whatever goes into your mind becomes part of your mind. So let's look at the major influences and the images that you are processing every day. So now that we're looking at the mind and are aware of its good works, we need to allow it to do what it's attempting to do best. Making sure that the images that come into our mind and the experiences that we're having are well selected and are in line with our goals. If we invite shocking, confusing, and violent images, then this gives our consciousness a lot to work on. And it doesn't allow it to have its full energy for the blessings we wish to press firmly within our consciousness and to lead to our evolution. For this reason, we need to make sure there's spare processing time and that we are very selective about what we put into our mind. So let's seek out images and experiences in the entertainment that we choose, which will be uplifting and positive. And let's be selective, making sure that the mind is never overloaded or saturated. And likewise, let's look at the information we gain. Let's be very selective about the sources that we look at, what we read, what we choose to learn from. Let's put time aside from learning and make sure that our mind isn't being pulled in too many different directions and distracted when we're asking it to undertake other tasks. Let's make sure that the input that we have is of high quality and of great value. From the Hermetic point of view, human consciousness does not originate in the brain. The brain is but a receiver, and to believe that the thoughts came from the brain would be about the same as if you concluded that the noises you heard from a radio actually came from that electronic box. No, the consciousness is actually a form of subtle energy, a pure substance of the mind. This mind stuff is constructed of the four elements: fire, air, water, and earth. And the nature of someone's consciousness is very much influenced by the predominance or dominance of these elements. This is a concept that's become very much part of our lives. So we talk about people being fiery people, or being as solid as a rock, or someone being a little bit airy, or someone being a bit wet. We still use this classification system. So the aim is to bring a balance so that you can be whatever element best suits the circumstance, and to use them in combination. As ambitious as you can be, adaptable and compassionate. As rigorous and of integrity as you are flexible and able to change yourself. For this reason, the Hermeticists, when practicing the square art, would always choose a memory palace. That would be a building to hold the images with which they want to bring forth transformation, which was square in shape and represented the balance that they sought to bring about. And likewise, they would make sure that whatever qualities they wished to cultivate were balanced by the equivalent virtue. Learning to be as merciful as they could be just. Learning to be as stable as they could be flexible. Bringing all things into balance within themselves. The aim was to view the mind as a temple, and to use your own creativity to find a template which best matched your path. The Hermeticists tended to use sacred places, real or imagined, to hold their images. They wanted a building that they could practice walking through in their imagination again and again until they could see it as if it was real. As they went through the building, they would make sure they stopped at set different points, the ones that would be easy to remember, as they went through their mental pilgrimage each day. To begin with, these places were just locations to stop on their mental tour. But as time went on, they would become locations of images of power. The practitioners of this art didn't see it as a new practice, but rather as a restoration of an ancient original tradition from Egypt. Just as the priests in those days would bring blessings into the world by embodying ideas in statues, so too were they doing the same in their mind. To do this, they needed to construct these inner statues, making images which would contain great resonance, powerful experience and influence. There are many different balance schemes of virtuous attainment that could inspire a practitioner, and still can now. Perhaps they could seek to cultivate the 4 cardinal virtues: temperance, prudence, justice, and fortitude. Perhaps they would be memorizing all the syllogisms of logic in the correct and balanced order within their temple to lead to an evolution in consciousness, a superhuman perception of truth. Maybe the muses themselves would be invited into the soul of the practitioner, and all the information based around each one of these forms of artistic talent would be brought into the image and nested inside in the form of poetry, images, detail, and words, so as to lead to a almost divine artistic talent. Whatever they found themselves inspired by, they made sure that the temple and the scheme of virtues to be cultivated was balanced and harmonious. Once they had decided on a certain path of evolution, they would form a temple with a preset route already marked out through their memorization. And then they would carefully and with great dedication and skill start to form images within that temple. Each image would be at one of the points whereby they would stop during their walk. And each image would be a meditation. So, in order to make an image powerful and strong, you may need to take a significant amount of time to build it up. Just as you see pictures of deities or angels or saints holding different objects or dressed in different ways, your images must contain the utmost information. If you are cultivating inner tranquility, the image for tranquility must have all aspects you wish to see manifest. A calm temperament within yourself, symbolized with something specific and powerful. The calm influence upon those around you that resonates, clearly defined, and put both into words and images for you to contemplate. The sense of clear vision that tranquility could bring, displayed and impregnated within the image in a way that is unmistakable for you. Adding more and more detail and layers upon that image, so that when you focus upon it, you can reach an ecstatic union within it, creates the image with such strength that once put into the personality, it becomes permanent and has the resonance which you seek. Now, the mother of muses is Mnemosyne, the goddess of memory herself. And we must remember that creativity is of the utmost importance here. Your memory palace and the images you put into it must be in line with your own spirituality, your own inspiration, and personal just to you. You must take time to hone, improve, and evolve one image at a time. As spending time every day, day upon day, building up this blessing within you. Then, when you feel complete oneness with the quality the image represents, it's time to move to the next step as you see this blessing manifest in your day-to-day life through your personality. Make sure that the path you set for yourself is progressive, leading to increasingly powerful and harmonious influences within yourself. And make sure that you impress firmly upon each image the intention of manifestation within yourself. And remember how an image in the material world can take something extremely far and have its own inherent power. And make sure that your images connect with information you want to learn about the qualities you want to see within yourself. Make sure it's well structured and dare to dream. Add emotional content and use your square memory palace as a filing system of who you are destined to be. Be sure to trust in the good nature of your own consciousness. Be open-minded about who you can be and what qualities you can cultivate within yourself. You will gain the greatest benefits and bring the most beautiful blessings into the world by being diligent in your focus, particularly on those virtues which you find hardest to manifest currently. With this kind of undertaking, you will be able to bring balance, stability, and strength to your mind, personality, and underlying functional consciousness. This will prepare you for greater things. For the square art is just a preparatory for the next stage in our evolution through Hermetic memory. Now, if this video has been of interest to you, be sure to remember to subscribe to the channel and press the alarm bell to invite the positive images which are shared through this medium into your consciousness. And if you're inspired and want to find out more, click the link in the description box to reserve your copy of the Hermetic Art of Memory, a genuine manual of self-perfection through this path, published in English for the first time.